Welcome to the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. We're your hosts, Erica Radis and Marie Lifschultz, a realtor and lender here in San Antonio, but most importantly, we're working moms just like you.
This podcast is all about creating a space where we can come together, share stories, and learn from each other. We love connecting with local moms in business, hearing about their journeys, and how they're balancing it all. Because let's be honest, it's not always easy, but it's so worth it.
Before we dive into today's episode, we're excited to share some big news with you all.
Our business community and co-working memberships are officially open. Whether you're looking for a supportive community of moms in business or need a beautiful space to work and grow, we've got just what you need here at Working Moms of San Antonio. You can visit the link in our show notes or workingmomsofsanantonio.com/membership for more info.
Now, on to today's episode. Grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's get started.
So I will say, welcome to this week's episode of the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. Today we are here with Brittany from Hot Mess Express. And so we are going to turn it over to her to talk a little bit more about that.
Oh, thank you. So obviously you said I'm here with Hot Mess Express. So Hot Mess Express is a national nonprofit. Their little tagline is not a handout, just a hand. We are a women group for women and moms. I started the chapter here in San Antonio. I applied to start it in October of last year, and we just got it up and running in January. But the Hot Mess Express, the initial idea was in 2021 and is founded in 2023. So it's still a new nonprofit, but is growing very, very quickly. We have 65 chapters across the United States already.
Oh my gosh,
That's incredible.
With 7 of them being in Texas.
Yeah.
They still need more.
Yeah.
The idea is, the hope is to have a chapter close enough to everybody, so every woman that needs help can get help. So the main purpose of Hot Mess Express is a volunteer-led group where people can volunteer for nominees. Nominees are any woman, any mom that needs help in their home with just a little bit of chaos. Our goal is to help in their home through cleaning and organizing, a fresh start, just to help, just a little bit of that help that I know a lot of us need to kind of get back on track, to reset our lives when maybe we're in a little bit of a funk.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
It is. It's amazing because I know, just thinking about a house full of boys, I'm like, oh my God, it's hard.
It is
You know,
hard.
it's really, really hard. Brittany, how did you hear about this, or how did you get involved? Like, what made you start your chapter?
So through my work, once a year we get sent to our corporate location for like training, and our corporate location is in Missouri. And there, one of our keynote speakers, also somebody in my company, they had a whole slideshow on Hot Mess Express as part of their "This is what I do in my spare time." And so she volunteered at an Illinois chapter of Hot Mess Express.
Okay.
And me and my 3 coworkers that were also there, all also women, two other ones also moms as well. We're like, that is a really good idea. All of us at some point in time were like, we could have used this. We needed this. We need one in San Antonio. We know it could be used and help a lot of people. So we came back from that trip in October and immediately applied and started going through the process to have an affiliate chapter
How
here in
awesome
San
is that?
Antonio.
Yeah.
That's incredible when you get a call in or a pull to do something and it's truly going to make a difference in someone's lives.
Yes.
Something that we can relate to, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And so how do people apply to get this help from you guys? How does it work?
So most of our transactions are, the process of it is done through Facebook. There is a website, hotmessexpress.co, that has affiliate locations. There's a location map, so you can see if there's one near wherever you live, as well as ways to donate either time, supplies, whatever it may be. And then there's also links to apply as an affiliate coordinator if there isn't one in your location. There's one for a chaos coordinator, which is a title for somebody who leads missions to go into people's homes and help. And then there's a volunteer form, just somebody that comes to help volunteer. And then there's a nominee form as well. And so you can nominate yourself or you can nominate somebody else as well, as long as they're okay with being nominated, because it can be a bit personal. We like to hear about your story, what's going on. We need pictures of your home. So as long as the nominee knows they're being nominated, or they nominate themselves, then they can fill out that form, and we get back with them relatively quickly to let them know the next steps and how to go through. So those links are on the hotmessexpress.co website, as well as every affiliate chapter has a Facebook page, and they're linked on their Facebook pages as well.
Wow. That's amazing.
Brittany, can you go through like a process? Like, what is, I mean, I kind of have an idea of what you guys do, but like, for example, let's say I got nominated. What does that look like?
So you nominate yourself. You go through the nomination form. You fill in your own personal information. We get your name, your phone number, your email address. We learn about your home. Do you have children? Do you have pets? And then a little bit, we call it a statement. What's going on with you? Are you in just a regular day-to-day funk? Have you had medical issues? Have you recently moved? Like, what's going on with your life that you think you need, some help right now that we can help with? That gets submitted to me. I get, notification through email that we have a new nominee. I go through and comb through the application, make sure nothing's missing, essentially. I reach out to you and I say, thank you so much for reaching out to Hot Mess Express. We all need some help sometimes, and I'm glad that you can come to us and ask for help.
Yeah.
I get any bits of missing information that we may need, and generally we schedule a walkthrough at that point where me and one other volunteer will come to your home. We'll say, hey, what are the points that you mostly want us to help with? Where are the rooms of concern?
Yeah.
Where can we help you the best? And get, more pictures if we need them, get your story, whatever it may be in that walkthrough appointment. And then, so that normally happens within the first week between initial contact and a walkthrough of your home. And then we try to schedule your mission. That's when the volunteers actually come to your home within about 2 weeks. We try to not make it too far out, so that way, anything major has changed in your situation, but soon enough, we're still a helping hand.
So it's immediate, in a sense, immediate relief that you might be able to get.
Yes.
When you really need the help.
We're keeping in contact with you the whole time to make sure that, nothing has changed, nothing drastic that's happened. And, assuring you that, hey, your mission is scheduled. We're coming to help on this day.
Got it.
And so when you're getting these nominees, what is it typically because someone has been unwell, or is it more often than not like, someone that's just let things kind of, life take its toll and, go by the wayside a little bit and that kind of stuff?
It can be a little bit of both. I can give you an example of like 2 nominees that we have right now. One of them, she is 6 months pregnant with her 3rd child. So she's got 2 children at home. One of them's autistic as well. She works full-time as an EMT, and she's also type 1 diabetic.
Oh.
So she's got a lot of things on her plate between 2 kids, a pregnancy, a medical condition, and a full-time job. And then she has a husband who also has a full-time job, but he's also 100% disabled as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things can happen in your household with all those things piling on top of each other.
Sure.
Another nominee that we have right now, a single mom, 2 girls, not a whole lot of help otherwise, and then recently diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Oh.
Has been in and out of the hospital. So, when you have a list of priorities, your home may not be,
Absolutely
the top one. So it can be any combination of things. Me personally, while any point in time where I would have reached out for Hot Mess Express's help, I can think of 2 kind of scenarios. There's one when I was going through postpartum depression. Again, the house is not the main focus. Would have loved a helping hand. Somebody just come do the dishes. Just mop the floor for me.
Right.
Put the laundry away if you would, And another time, for 3 years there, I was a single mom of 2 kids working a full-time job. So from 6:30 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock when the kids went to bed, whatever that may have been, I was busy. If I had any time for chores, it was after the kids went to bed, and it would have been my me time, anything like that. Things get behind. So it can be anything in between, just, things aren't getting done when they're supposed to be done, to, stress, mental concern, or mental issues, mental health concerns is what I mean to say, or physical concerns. It could be any combination of them. And we have no bias towards what it is. There's no judgment. It's all no judgment. And really the only reason we would deny a nomination is if you're outside of our area.
Oh, I see. So there's not like a threshold by which it's like, okay, we have to come in and it has to be like so bad, that they would then be like, okay, now we need to kind of come in and intervene. Anybody that feels as though they need the help, so long as within your means to do so, you would help.
There are scenarios where we may not be able to offer help. If it's a hoarder scenario, it's too unsanitary, pest infection, infestations, things like that. They're outside the scope of what we can do. we can give them resources for those kinds of things. But, generally it's all no judgment. We're not necessarily going to turn many people away for
Sure.
almost anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's typically like the daily stuff that just piles on, like
Mhm.
the dishes, the clutter, the mess, that kind of
Yes.
stuff that just can be extremely overwhelming. I know for me, like
Yes.
when there's clutter, my mind's clutter. Like
Yeah.
I can't focus. I can't get things done. So I like when things are neat. They
Mhm.
don't have to be perfect, but just organized in a sense that I can at least get through things or find stuff. So I mean, I'm trying to think back. My boys are 17 and 15 now, and I'm like, oh man, if I remember I had a C-sections back to back, and it was very difficult to get around, and I didn't have a lot of help. My husband worked full time, so he was gone. So I'm like, oh, just someone to come in and help me clean the toilet, or like
Yeah.
I got sick after my second C-section, and I remember having trouble just moving around for a long period of time, and it was hard. And but it was kind of I didn't know there was a resource out there that could come out and help.
Yes.
That would have been great to have at that time.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
I feel like when things are overwhelming at home, it piles on and it affects everything, right? It affects your
Mhm.
relationships, it affects your
Yes.
work life, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And so it's great to have a resource available to women. And women, I feel like it's nice that you can nominate yourself, but it's also nice that you can, with someone's permission, nominate you, because women have a hard time asking for help.
Exactly. Well, and one of the nicer things about it too is it's women helping women.
Yeah.
You ever heard the joke like a lot of women don't want male Instacart shoppers because they don't pick out the right things?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? Kind of the same thing. These are women, moms, other like-minded people coming into your home and helping. So I'm not saying we're going to do it absolutely perfect every time, but these are women that you can ask for help from and be comfortable with it. So, we're gonna separate the kids' laundry, into the correct piles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Straight
right. All
up.
in one together.
Yeah.
Everything's pink today.
We're gonna put the dishes away in the correct cabinet.
Yeah.
Things that women and moms will notice and take that little bit of extra. Because for me, somebody who has a little bit of self-diagnosed OCD, nothing bothers me more than when somebody helps and I have to go back and do it again for them because they didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. So when you guys go in, I guess it depends on the situation.
Mhm.
But how long would you say on average it would take to, get things done? Are you guys there for weeks, or, I mean, what's the
Oh, no.
circumstance?
We're trying to make this a one-day thing.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so we get as many volunteers as possible. We have almost 30 women volunteered right now, which we want to build up our bank as big as possible.
Of
'cause
course.
some of these
That's
people,
cool.
Yeah.
some of these women are only available on Tuesday mornings. Some of them are only weekends. So we want a large, bank of women willing to volunteer. That way, whatever day these missions come up, we can get a large enough group. So, I mean, if we have 20 women tackling a 1,000 square foot home, it's going to get done in a couple hours. But if we have 5 women doing a 3,000 square foot home, we're going to be there most of the day.
Yes.
So
yes.
it really depends on volunteer turnout, the size and scope of the house and projects that need to be done. But it is a one-day mission. And the woman, the nominee or her family, whoever it may be, is also welcome to stay and help too, delegate if they want. So it's up to them whether they want to participate or just come home to, a clean, refreshed house
Can
with
you
the candle lit.
imagine 20 pairs of hands?
Oh my gosh, I know.
Oh my God. I'm like, that'd be so nice. That's
Yeah.
incredible. And so I didn't realize so many volunteers at one time. How do you, I guess, vet volunteers? How do people volunteer with
Yeah.
your chapter?
So same thing with the nomination process. There's an application either on the hotmessexpress.co website or through the chapter, the location affiliates Facebook page is the nomination page. Kind of the same thing. We really won't turn down a volunteer for any particular reason unless if they're outside the area. We try to stick to a 25-mile radius because you will be driving yourself to these missions. And it's really not that hard. There is more of a vetting process if you're wanting to become a chaos coordinator,
Okay.
which are those women that lead the missions. They're the ones that's going to rally, gather everybody, do roll call, fill out paperwork, and actually lead the missions, assign people to certain rooms or tasks. So that one, there's a training and onboarding process, but volunteers are more than welcome to fill out a volunteer form, put in their information and their available hours, and it goes on as a Facebook event saying, hey, we have a mission on We actually have one on February 15th. So we say, hey, there's a mission on February 15th starting at 10 o'clock. Who can come? And you hit going, and we expect you to show up at 10 o'clock on Saturday,
That's
February
cool.
15th.
Yeah.
So,
Very cool.
That is, you guys have like sort of a well-oiled machine.
Yes,
there.
for very quick. I mean, it's inspirational hearing you because you went to a work event, heard somebody talk about it. Like, you know what, we're doing that. I'm gonna sign up now. Start my own chat. Wow.
Yeah.
and being functional and doing stuff and making a big difference. That's awesome.
I've been wanting to find something to do with my spare time, kind of in a similar realm, but you want to be passionate about it too. If you're spending, I have 4 kids, 2 kids and 2 stepkids, and a full-time job and the dogs and the house and all of that. So if I wanted to spend extra time doing something, I wanted to make sure I was passionate about it. So this is something that I feel it fills your bucket.
Brittany, do you like to clean?
I do like to clean.
Yeah.
But you get tired of cleaning your own house
Exactly.
sometimes.
I mean, I love cleaning. I love cleaning, but my own, I'm like, ugh.
Yes.
Because I didn't make this mess either, but still.
Yeah, there's some emotional aspects to it as well, I guess.
I want to make my kids clean up their own mess. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess you have to sort of have that like organization heart to be doing that kind of stuff.
We were talking a little bit about it when she was telling me that you were coming in today, and I'm like, well, there has to be some we talked to a lady recently, an organization type person, but it was different. This is completely different. Like it's someone who's really truly coming in, like helping you clean your kitchen, like, and putting dishes away, and not just organizing stuff. Like really, truly helping you come in and you walk in. I love the feeling to walk into a clean kitchen.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. I love cooking when the kitchen's been cleaned.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to know. I mean, I'm trying to understand the process, but just 20 people coming in and cleaning a house and I have a hard time picturing it. But I think it'd be really, really neat.
Maybe because we've never experienced that
I
level
know.
of help.
That's right.
That's part of what Hot Mess Express is about. Is we're creating a village for people that don't necessarily have one.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm sure these you must have volunteers that, like you said, you're building up a bank. So they help again and again and again. And that's got to be so rewarding for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's a lot of people that have only weekend availability, or they only have availability when their kids are at school, whatever it is. So we're going to try to move it around a little bit and have a weekday, weekend. So that way it can get moved around a little bit, on Christmas breaks, spring breaks, whatever it may end up being. But there are people that are going to be doing, multiple missions. This is what we have grandmas that are empty nesters and want something to do with their free time. And we have, moms that could have used the help 6 months ago. And now they want to help, somebody else instead. So it's a wide variety of women that want to come back and help
They're
people.
paying it forward. Maybe you got the help and now you're willing to help someone else.
I could say both of our nominees are also volunteers as well.
Oh, that's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have like rough numbers on like the amount of people you guys have been able to help?
Not nationwide. I don't. I know most of the chapters, 65 current chapters, and 32 of those have been in 2025. So January, February, new onboarding chapters. So last year there were 33 chapters, and each one of those chapters were doing 1 or 2 missions a month.
Yeah.
So across the United States in 33 chapters, they were doing, their very best to help.
Yeah, that's a lot of
couple,
help.
Couple women's in their city or their county each month.
Yeah. Wow. And so it's kind of quickly growing if you have so many new ones having opened up. About half of what you've got has opened up somewhat recently around the nation.
Yes. So Brittany Tran, who's the president of Hot Mess Express, she did a TikTok video that she posted, cross-posted to Instagram and Facebook, and it went fairly viral. So from that post in December, there was a lot of interest and applications for new affiliates across the United States. So it is growing very quickly.
Yeah. It shows you that social media.
It's just a way to give back to your community. Like, it's just a different way of doing something and outside the box. Like, yes, you can donate money. Yes, you can go to that kind of stuff. But this is actually physically being the service, like being the benefit. Like, you're that person,
And
that's awesome.
We do our best to, we're not putting all your information out there, but we do give our volunteers enough information about the person's scenario, what they're going through, so that way they know how they're helping, this woman or this family and what they're going through.
Yeah. Well, I think hopefully people. I know when I was working a lot of hours when my kids were very, very young, someone had suggested getting someone to come in to help me clean, and I'm like, I can do it myself. Like, I don't need someone. I wish but when I started thinking about having that extra pair of hands to come in and just take that stress off you makes life just so much better. And especially if you're just in a bad situation where we do know women, suffer from postpartum, or maybe they've had a death in the family, or maybe they're diagnosed with something that you just can't get to everything.
Yeah.
And having that extra hand to come in to really make things better can just put a lot of less stress on your body.
Yeah. And we have a lot of women that say, like, hey, if you can come and help me, if you can do the reset, I can maintain it after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all it takes because you just don't have the motivation to put in all the effort up front to get it, back to 100.
Yeah. And I think probably, I mean, we let things, obviously there's extenuating circumstances, but we let things get to a point because, like we said before, it's hard to ask for that help, you
Yes.
know? And so, I mean, we talked about it at book club recently at one of our book clubs. We, as women, I feel like would like help, but we don't ask for help. And then there's almost like a point of pride where we're the ones that take care of everything and like make sure that everything's like taken care of. And so if you allow outsiders to know that you're not taking care of things the way
Yes.
that, you think might be perceived as like the proper way or whatever, then you continue to not ask, and you keep holding it back and you keep
Because
holding
it's
it back.
embarrassing. Like I I was thinking about when I had my children, I didn't want people to know that I couldn't clean my toilets, or I couldn't
Yes.
mop my floors everywhere. I wasn't changing my sheets every week, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
That was hard to do. But as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, that's my
Yes.
job.
It
like
feels
I do
like
that.
your
Yeah,
job.
it's my
Yeah.
job, and I'm proud to do those things. But it's hard to admit that I can't get to everything every week or
Yes.
whatever the case
Because
is.
there is a certain extent, it's a guilt. It feels like you're a little bit like a failure if you didn't quite get to everything, do everything that you feel like you're supposed to be doing. And we're here to let people know that's not the case. And there's lots of us that feel that way, and we're here to help.
I think what we see on social media, everything looks so pretty and polished
And
and
perfect.
everything's labeled and in its spot. And I'm like, that's not the way houses look.
Yeah.
I've seen the
know.
appraisals. They don't look like that.
I know. We should normalize like normal looking houses, I feel like,
Yeah.
and that, but that's not the way of the social media world.
Because it's not pretty to look at. Like, a lot of times we co-work here because it's nice and it's pretty and it's clean, and I don't have to think about the dishes right now.
Yeah.
I can work in a nice space that's comfortable, and where I'm not having to worry about my chores that I have at home.
Right.
So I completely. I think it's amazing, and I'm just fascinated that you just heard about it. You're like, I'm doing that. You did it, and you got a whole chapter going, and you've already helped people. So that's incredible because it takes a while. Sometimes things get going. You think about it, but nope. You're like, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I'm doing
even
this.
though it's a new nonprofit, they were really good at getting us set up, quickly, so that way we could start. It was really, they really set it at our pace. They said, "You're good to go. Start. Asking for volunteers. Start asking for nominees. Start asking for wish list items. Generally, just cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
And when you guys feel like you're ready to take on a mission, take on your mission. Start. Here's your resources. You can do it when you're comfortable." So it was they gave us a lot of resources to get it started and get it started correctly. And I say we because there is another affiliate coordinator. She lives in Lacoste, so a little west of San Antonio. She's also a working mom, has 2 boys, and she's great. She saw the viral video and wanted to start as well. So we applied at a similar time. So they stuck us together and said, "You guys are in charge of San Antonio. Here's your baby. Go take care of it."
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Brittany, are there any tips or anything that you might be able to share with our working moms that you might, as you've been doing this, think that maybe if they are struggling and maybe are not ready to reach out, but something they could be doing, or that you've learned in your short time of having your chapter that you might be able to share with them?
I mean, honestly, my biggest piece of advice is really just to talk to your village. If you don't have a village, find a village, ask for a village. Because I know there's so many of us, like I'm a transplant to San Antonio. I've been here for over 10 years now, but I'm not originally from here. I'm lucky enough to have had some family move to the area, but anybody that could help me is within 30 minutes to 2 hours away. So there's a lot of women like that. So if you don't have a village, find a Facebook group, find a support group, find a book club, find a village. And from there, anybody and anything can help you if you need it. Whether you ask for it or not, somebody, especially women, will notice if you need help.
It's a great tip.
Yeah, that is.
We're a great village.
Yeah.
Welcome to our village.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Yeah, we were just actually talking about that at the workshop yesterday. We had a workshop about like work-life balance. And the gal that
That's
was
a lie.
Yeah. it does feel very elusive. But the gal that was teaching it was like, people use that statement. They say like, find your village. But if you're not utilizing it, then what is it there for? We all need to help, but it's so true. Women do notice, they notice if you're having a hard time, or they notice, in your personality, or if you just don't quite seem yourself, and that kind of thing. And so, what you guys are doing is great as women, by women for women, essentially.
Yeah.
Because women they notice those kind of things for each other, I feel like.
Yes.
And I think if you felt it and didn't have the help, you can be empathetic to the person who's going through it. Like you feel it. I think that's what also our workshop talked about yesterday. She being very empathetic to people and understanding how they feel about stuff. So yeah, I think women have a good gauge for that. So yeah, find your village. That's a great tip. I think it's an awesome tip.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to share with our audience specifically that you can think of?
Not specifically. I mean, if they like the message and the goal for Hot Mess Express, we're always accepting volunteers. Like I said, we've got about 30, but we would love to have more. We would love for any woman listening to join our Facebook group, and you don't necessarily have to volunteer if you just want to join and look at our happenings and goings ons. And we'd like to have some socials or things in the future once we get a little bit bigger. But we just join our village.
Yeah, that's great. And we'll put, I know you had already mentioned the website. If you want, you can say it again quickly here at the end.
Hotmessexpress.co.
Got it. Yeah. And then we'll put it in the show notes as well, and we'll share it around. And yeah, thank you so much for being on.
This is
is
awesome.
great. What a cool nonprofit that I didn't even know existed.
I swear, I saw something on Instagram and you mentioned, I'm like, wait, I just saw that. It was, but I'm I love watching folding videos. I love watching cleaning videos.
Oh, those cleaning videos will
reels,
suck me in at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. They get me. And we have a lady who owns a laundry service, and I love her videos because she folds them and looks so pretty. And I'm like, I need my clothes to look like that. So, but yes, it came across my feed. I'm like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
That she's going to be
really
here.
amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just also thank our listeners for tuning in to this week's episode of the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. And we will catch you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. We hope you loved today's chat and found a little inspiration to take with you into your week. If you have a podcast topic suggestion or a question you'd love for us to cover, definitely send us an email at hello@workingmomsofsanantonio.com. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, see you in the community.